Welcome to Ancient Mysteries. I'm your host, Ben Carter, and in today's episode we explore a puzzling phenomenon that has baffled scientists and historians alike. Strange, elongated skulls discovered around the globe. From Egypt's royal tombs to hidden Peruvian cemeteries, these mysterious cranial artifacts challenge everything we know about our ancient past. Are they evidence of lost civilizations or something even stranger? Stay tuned. Thousands of years ago, long before modern civilization began to document history through written language, diverse cultures around the globe thrived, each uniquely evolving with distinctive customs, rituals, and practices. Among these ancient peoples were societies that built vast empires, magnificent cities, and complex social structures, leaving behind enigmatic relics for archaeologists and historians to ponder today. One remarkable thread linking these diverse cultures, from Egypt to Mesopotamia, from ancient Peru to remote islands in the Pacific, is their fascination with the human form and its manipulation. In ancient Egypt, dating back nearly 4,000 years, a society obsessed with both earthly power and spiritual transcendence arose. Egyptian royalty, depicted through exquisite artistry and sculptures, adopted elaborate forms of personal adornment and modification to signify divine status. Meanwhile, halfway across the globe, in the dense jungles and towering mountain ranges of South America, powerful civilizations like the Paracas and Nazca flourished around 800 BCE. They too shared a keen interest in bodily modification, viewing it as a pathway to spiritual enlightenment and communal identity. These civilizations painstakingly preserved their traditions, rituals, and beliefs, painting a vibrant tapestry of cultural heritage. Traveling even further across the world, isolated Pacific Islanders, living within small, closely knit communities, also developed unique practices that set them apart. Communities such as those on the island of Vanuatu revered distinctive physical characteristics as symbols of power, nobility, or spiritual connection. To these ancient peoples, physical form wasn't merely genetic happenstance. It represented social status, spiritual purity, and divine favor. Scholars and archaeologists exploring these ancient societies note that many of them possessed strikingly advanced knowledge of human anatomy, suggesting a deep, intrinsic connection between their cultural identity and bodily form. Archaeological digs have uncovered countless artifacts, carefully crafted statues, intricate murals, and detailed carvings that showcase an intense focus on the human head. These artifacts suggest that these ancient peoples placed extraordinary symbolic and spiritual importance upon the human skull, often equating it with wisdom, power, and even immortality. What unifies these culturally disparate civilizations is their willingness to alter, sculpt, and reshape their very physical beings to align with deeply held spiritual and social ideals. To understand the context behind the mystery of elongated skulls, we must first appreciate the powerful role body modification played in ancient cultural life. For many ancient societies, reshaping the body was not simply cosmetic. It was an integral part of their communal identity, a profound expression of who they were, who they aspired to become, and what they believed was divine. This intense reverence for bodily form laid a foundation for practices that, while intriguing to modern observers, were profoundly meaningful within the societies that embraced them. Understanding this cultural context helps us better comprehend the mindset of ancient peoples and why altering their natural appearance became such a defining aspect of their lives. At archaeological sites scattered across the globe, from Egypt's Valley of the Kings to ancient burial grounds in Peru, researchers have unearthed an unsettling phenomenon. Human skulls elongated far beyond any natural human variation. These discoveries, often found buried alongside artifacts of great cultural significance, have left archaeologists baffled, unable to conclusively determine the exact purpose or meaning behind such profound cranial modifications. One of the most compelling discoveries occurred in the Paracas region of Peru. In the early 20th century, renowned archaeologist Julio Tello excavated a series of graves containing nearly 300 elongated skulls, some dating as far back as 3,000 years. These skulls were remarkably distinct, their cranial capacity significantly greater than typical human skulls. Intriguingly, these Paracas skulls often lacked certain cranial sutures, a detail that deepened the mystery. Could these skulls represent a naturally occurring genetic anomaly, or were they deliberately manipulated? Thousands of miles away, similar elongated skulls have been found in ancient Egyptian tombs. A notable example is Pharaoh Akhenaten, known for initiating revolutionary religious changes during his rule. Depictions of Akhenaten and his family consistently portray them with dramatically elongated skulls. Some scholars argue these portrayals were symbolic, designed to indicate a divine status or superior intelligence. Yet, archaeological finds suggest the possibility that skull elongation was a literal, physical reality among the Egyptian elite. This intriguing possibility introduces new questions about the nature and purpose of the practice. Was it ritualistic, a status symbol, or perhaps indicative of some now lost medical or spiritual knowledge? Farther east, in the Caucasus Mountains region near the Black Sea, another trove of elongated skulls emerged. These skulls, attributed to the mysterious Alans and Sarmatians, nomadic peoples who once dominated the Eurasian steppes, raise yet another layer of complexity. Historians note that the presence of elongated skulls here might indicate cultural diffusion, trade, or possibly even migration patterns linking distant civilizations previously thought to have little contact. Compounding the mystery are isolated finds such as those uncovered in Malta, Russia, Mexico, and the Pacific Islands, suggesting that elongated skull practices were not exclusive to a single culture or region. Instead, they emerged independently, repeatedly, across geographically and culturally isolated societies. Such widespread occurrence challenges simple explanations, hinting at deeper shared psychological or spiritual motivations behind the practice. Moreover, the meticulous effort required to elongate a skull, usually involving binding infants' heads from birth, tightly wrapping them to achieve the desired shape, indicates the extraordinary significance ancient societies attached to this practice. The procedure was undoubtedly painful, risky, and irreversible, yet its prevalence underscores its powerful cultural importance. Despite extensive research, scholars remain unable to definitively answer why so many cultures independently adopted such a peculiar, demanding, and dramatic form of body modification. The ultimate purpose and meaning behind these elongated skulls remain one of archaeology's most fascinating unresolved enigmas. Over the decades, researchers have meticulously studied elongated skulls through a variety of advanced scientific methods, revealing fascinating clues that begin to peel back layers of this ancient mystery. Archaeologists have scrutinized not only the skulls themselves, but also artifacts discovered alongside them, unearthing valuable insights into the lives of those who practiced cranial modification. In Paracas, Peru, the initial excavations by Julio Tello sparked a series of extensive follow-up investigations. Modern DNA analysis conducted on these Peruvian skulls revealed surprising genetic anomalies, suggesting complex ancestry involving populations previously unknown in the region. This finding has opened doors to theories of migration, interbreeding, and even the potential presence of undocumented ancient peoples. Radiocarbon dating further confirmed that these skulls were indeed thousands of years old, reinforcing the historical authenticity and extensive antiquity of the practice. Additionally, advanced cranial scans performed using computed tomography (CT) scans have allowed researchers unprecedented glimpses into the internal anatomy of these elongated skulls. Surprisingly, several Paracas skulls demonstrated not only increased cranial capacity, but also anomalous cranial structures, including unusual bone thickness and altered vascular channels. Such anatomical peculiarities suggest the deliberate practice of head binding influenced cranial bone growth far beyond mere cosmetic changes, indicating possible physiological effects still not fully understood. Across the Atlantic, examinations of Egyptian artifacts and inscriptions provided clues linking elongated skulls directly to ritualistic and religious significance. Studies of royal mummies and tomb inscriptions repeatedly show elongated skull shapes associated explicitly with gods and divine rulers, strongly implying that cranial deformation was an intentional practice meant to emulate or symbolize supernatural attributes. Recent forensic examinations of ancient Egyptian relief sculptures have reinforced this notion, showing consistent depictions of elongated heads across generations of elite individuals, a cultural continuity underscoring the symbolic power of skull elongation. In Eastern Europe, archaeological digs among the Alans and Sarmatians unearthed not just skulls but elaborate burial goods. Intricately crafted jewelry, ceremonial weapons, and sophisticated textiles accompanied the elongated skulls, signifying elevated social or spiritual status. Chemical analyses of isotopes in these remains have also yielded remarkable insights, showing varied diets indicative of high-ranking individuals. Researchers believe these artifacts collectively demonstrate that elongated skull individuals were honored figures within their societies, respected and possibly revered due to perceived spiritual superiority or elite lineage. Furthermore, bioarchaeologists studying cranial deformation worldwide have experimentally recreated skull binding techniques. Using computer simulations and forensic anthropology, these experiments vividly illustrate how cranial deformation could have physically altered the brain's development pathways. While current evidence is inconclusive regarding cognitive changes, these simulations have allowed experts to confirm that the procedure was meticulously planned, carefully executed, and socially significant enough to justify considerable physical risk and discomfort. Through meticulous examination of bones, DNA, and cultural artifacts, researchers continue piecing together a clearer, if still incomplete, picture of the societies practicing skull elongation. Each discovery reveals not only how ancient peoples performed these modifications, but also deepens our appreciation of the profound significance such practices held within their cultures. Beyond mainstream scholarship lies a realm of speculation and unconventional ideas, fascinating theories born from imagination and the unknown. When it comes to elongated skulls, these fringe perspectives often resonate deeply with audiences captivated by the possibility of hidden truths and lost histories. One of the most enduring and provocative theories involves extraterrestrial beings. Advocates of the ancient astronaut hypothesis claim that these elongated skulls are evidence of alien visitors interbreeding with early human societies. Supporters point to depictions in ancient Egyptian and Mayan art where gods and divine beings frequently possess elongated heads and unusual bodily proportions. According to proponents, these depictions are literal rather than symbolic, portraying beings who arrived from the stars and shared advanced knowledge with humanity, thus profoundly influencing our cultural and biological evolution. Bolstering these claims, speculative theorists reference the anomalous genetic markers identified within the Paracas skulls, markers they suggest might indicate non-human ancestry. This idea, although dismissed by mainstream science, resonates with those intrigued by the possibility that our ancient past might include interactions with beings from other worlds, entities whose genetic heritage could persist subtly even today. Another fringe idea proposes a hidden civilization, now vanished from the pages of recorded history, whose members possessed superior physical or mental capabilities. Advocates suggest these elongated skulls belong to a forgotten elite, possibly survivors of the mythical continent of Atlantis or another advanced prehistoric civilization. According to this theory, elongated skulls symbolized inherent psychic or intellectual superiority, traits deliberately preserved through selective breeding and cranial modification. Some believe this lost civilization dispersed around the globe following a catastrophic event, leaving their distinct mark among various cultures, reflected in the universal practice of cranial elongation. Adding a layer of intrigue, some fringe theorists speculate that elongated skulls might indicate advanced psychic or telepathic abilities. They argue the modification wasn't simply aesthetic or symbolic. Rather, ancient peoples aimed to physically enhance latent mental faculties. Believers point to modern anecdotal reports of heightened psychic abilities in individuals possessing naturally elongated skull shapes, though such claims remain anecdotal and scientifically unsubstantiated. Yet they continue to captivate imaginations, suggesting the tantalizing possibility that these ancient peoples sought to unlock extraordinary capabilities through physical modification. Perhaps most unusual among speculative theories is the idea that elongated skulls were connected to ancient rituals of dimensional travel or spiritual transcendence. Proponents suggest cranial deformation altered consciousness, allowing practitioners to communicate with spirits or traverse other realms. This theory aligns loosely with ancient shamanic practices found globally, where altered physical states, through pain, ritual, or deformation, facilitated spiritual journeys. Though lacking concrete evidence, this narrative offers an evocative glimpse into the profound mystical aspirations potentially motivating such extreme bodily modifications. While none of these speculative theories find solid footing within conventional archaeology, their resonance speaks to our collective fascination with the unknown, inviting us to consider the profound mysteries still hidden within the shadows of human history. In recent years, intriguing new developments have emerged, reshaping our understanding of elongated skulls and offering unexpected twists to an already captivating narrative. Fresh archaeological discoveries, advanced genetic research, and previously overlooked historical accounts have ignited a renewed excitement among researchers eager to unravel the remaining mysteries surrounding these enigmatic skulls. In 2019, a previously unexplored burial site near the Black Sea revealed a startling array of elongated skulls accompanied by ceremonial weapons and jewelry. This find was remarkable not only for the number of skulls discovered, but also for inscriptions in an ancient script previously unknown to archaeologists. Scholars have cautiously begun deciphering these writings, which seem to reference rituals dedicated to ascended beings with elongated heads. If authenticated, these inscriptions could indicate a previously undocumented cultural or spiritual significance tied specifically to cranial elongation, offering compelling new clues about ancient beliefs. Simultaneously, advances in genetic sequencing have begun illuminating unexpected connections between elongated skull populations separated by vast geographic distances. Recent DNA testing conducted by an international research team compared genetic samples from elongated skull remains in Peru, Eastern Europe, and Egypt. Preliminary results have hinted at subtle but fascinating genetic overlaps, markers suggestive of ancient migrations or trade networks previously unconsidered by mainstream historians. While still early, these genetic insights could dramatically reshape prevailing narratives about cultural interactions in antiquity, challenging long-held assumptions about isolation and independence among early civilizations. Adding yet another layer of intrigue, historical researchers revisiting ancient Chinese texts recently identified references that might pertain to elongated skull individuals living in remote regions along the ancient Silk Road. These obscure accounts, long dismissed as folklore, describe groups of people with distinctively shaped heads, known for their exceptional wisdom and supposed prophetic abilities. Historians are now re-examining these texts, speculating whether they might reflect historical encounters with actual elongated skull populations rather than merely allegorical or mythical beings. Such revelations open tantalizing possibilities about ancient perceptions of physical modification, wisdom, and cultural identity along crucial trade routes linking East and West. Furthermore, ongoing archaeological excavations in Malta have unexpectedly uncovered a complex subterranean structure believed to be ceremonial chambers possibly connected to cranial elongation practices. Inside these chambers, researchers discovered carved stone depictions of figures unmistakably possessing elongated heads, portrayed in ritualistic poses. Archaeologists suggest these images indicate a spiritual or ceremonial dimension to cranial elongation that extends far beyond mere social status or aesthetics, perhaps hinting at profound metaphysical beliefs yet to be fully understood. These recent developments and overlooked narratives underscore the ongoing complexity and deepening mystery surrounding elongated skulls. They demonstrate vividly that despite extensive study, our exploration into the lives and motivations of ancient peoples remains incomplete. Each new discovery enriches the narrative, presenting fresh questions, unexpected connections, and compelling evidence of an intricate past, far more interconnected and mysterious than previously imagined. Throughout history, scattered across the globe, from the tombs of ancient Egyptian royalty to remote burial sites in Peru and the enigmatic remains found along the Black Sea, the mystery of elongated skulls continues to captivate our imagination. These strange cranial modifications, far from being isolated anomalies, connect diverse cultures separated by oceans, deserts, and millennia. each independently embracing a ritual that still eludes complete explanation. We've journeyed through the intricate cultural context behind these skulls, recognizing that the human form, particularly the head, held profound spiritual and social meaning for ancient civilizations. In Egypt, elongated heads symbolized divine kinship. In Peru, they represented power and spiritual transcendence, and among nomadic groups in Eurasia, they marked elite status and perhaps secret knowledge. Each discovery, from archaeological finds to complex DNA analyses, has provided vital clues, yet also deepened the intrigue by raising compelling new questions. Theories to explain this ancient practice are as varied as the civilizations themselves. Some scholars argue that elongation represented symbolic aspirations, humans emulating gods or powerful ancestors, while others see practical purposes such as status symbols, rites of passage, or expressions of cultural identity. Alongside mainstream perspectives exist more speculative and fringe ideas, suggesting alien intervention, lost civilizations, or even metaphysical transformations intended to unlock hidden human potential. Moreover, fresh discoveries continue to illuminate our understanding, adding fascinating layers of complexity to the narrative. Recent genetic findings hint at historical connections among distant populations, challenging long-standing beliefs about cultural isolation. Newly deciphered inscriptions and unearthed artifacts suggest deeper ritualistic purposes behind cranial elongation, hinting at spiritual dimensions we are only beginning to comprehend. Yet despite extensive research, the core enigma remains unresolved. We still ask ourselves, why did ancient peoples around the world independently arrive at the same remarkable practice? What drove such meticulous effort to reshape the human skull, often at great physical cost? Perhaps the answer lies not only in anthropology and archaeology, but also in a deeper exploration of human aspiration, our collective yearning to transcend our earthly limitations, striving to embody something greater, wiser, perhaps even divine. In the end, the mystery of elongated skulls confronts us with profound reflections about humanity itself. It challenges our perceptions of cultural identity, pushes us to reconsider ancient beliefs, and invites us to remain humble in the face of unanswered questions. These skulls remind us vividly that history is never entirely settled, that beneath the surface of the familiar lies the profound and fascinating unknown. They compel us to keep searching, forever drawn toward the tantalizing possibility that within these relics lie hidden truths waiting patiently to be discovered. Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Ben Carter, and this has been another episode of Ancient Mysteries. Don't forget to follow and subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you never miss an episode. Share this episode with your fellow mystery enthusiasts, and be sure to connect with us on social media for behind-the-scenes content and exclusive updates. Join us next time for another exciting journey into the world of ancient mysteries. See you then. If you enjoyed this episode and want to uncover even more secrets of the ancient world, consider subscribing for exclusive access to content you won't find anywhere else. As a subscriber, you'll get unreleased episodes, exploring theories and discoveries too controversial for mainstream platforms, members-only bonus episodes, deep dives into history's most enigmatic mysteries, extended director's cut versions of your favorite episodes, early access to new episodes before they're released to the public, and much more. Thank you for your support. The link is in the description below. Join now.